back from more Walking Dead. This is episode 4 of season 11. I'm very excited to continue with the season, see what's going to be happening next, who we're going to focus on, etc, etc. We've had a bunch of trouble with the Reapers recently, and starvation. Those are about the two big bads that we're kind of dealing with. So I don't know if we're going to get more of that. Are we going to get more of the Commonwealth stuff with all the lot that are there? Are we going to get both? I don't know, but both kind of story strands we're getting, I found a lot to get invested in. So I'm excited to see what on earth they're going to be focusing on next with this one. So let's just dive right into it. Oh, look at Dog being all stealthy. This is actual like video game level, isn't it? I mean, that's a bold move. Oh, how dare you? Okay. Oh. Oh, it's that. Oh, it's Leah. It's retroactive girlfriend.
Across a small group on the road. No. I ain't one of them. Travel light. Always.
Trying to protect his friends.
Come on, boy. Come on.
Well, that's fine.
What's funny?
Dog?
I like you better.
Look, I don't know who you're fighting, but I am not part of it.
Didn't Daryl have Dog for so much longer?
Come on.
Can't believe this. Oh, and here we go. Why is it whenever we see a character again, like, they're always part of the evil group? Well, I'm sure he's thrilled to see you again.
I'm sorry you ended up with these people.
These people are my family. They never stopped looking for me. When they found me, I came home.
Oh, so she was with them before. Oh.
You're filthy.
Oh, yeah. We've been saying that for years. Well. Oh. Oh, God. I mean, Darren's been through all this shit and worse before. Like, keep trying.
You'll crack. I just need a little more time.
He will not
I had
crack.
time already.
He's Daryl fucking Dixon. Go away. She's gonna care about him still, isn't she? Like, I don't think you can just erase their time together. It must have been a little while.
The one we answer to won't be so nice.
Oh yeah, because you folks have been lovely. You fuckers better not play Easy Street.
Yeah. Is that you?
La 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 la, I don't know you, la la la.
Whatever beef you have with these people, I want no part of it. Hear me?
He has to play along like he doesn't care. We're on Easy Street, and it feels so sweet.
You need to tell me the truth.
I've never lied to you. Never, Leah.
Except this whole episode so far.
I'm gonna start now.
We need to get better lighting here. Hello. Sir Ben Kingsley, is that you?
I'm angry.
Good. Before I get some inevitable comments, I am aware that's not Sir Ben Kingsley.
One of my brothers is dead.
Shame.
You didn't tell me you were a merc.
What does it matter? It was the same damn job.
Oh. You didn't tell him absolutely everything. Why are you getting mad at him for not doing the same?
You know, we lost a lot of people. Here, you know, that's been hard.
Oh, poor thing.
We wouldn't have worked anyway. Couldn't have been happy. Not in a world like this.
That's the spirit.
Like you've never done things. Killed people. I know the things you've done. So you have no right to judge. Not at all. Always.
I mean, we can judge when it seems like you started everything in the first place. Unless there's something Maggie's holding
I can't
back.
help with that. I still care about you, and I don't want anything bad to happen to you.
apart from the waterboarding that you observed.
There's a tall, skinny guy. Never shuts up. Priest, who cares?
Who could that be?
It's Pope.
Soon.
Oh, look forward to that.
I told you he would be useful, and I was right. He's a lot like us.
You could have ended him out there today, and you didn't. Why?
At one point, he meant something.
Hopefully she'll come through in the end and help Daryl out.
Yeah, save that coy shit for your girlfriend. Shaw ain't nobody's girlfriend. I'm betting she wears the pants with homeboy here. Isn't that right?
Are you all teenage boys? I was hoping the Reapers would be a bit more than... Yeah, your girlfriend.
Hey!
Oh. Oh shit. Oh. Okay. Well, damn. What a waste of one of your nice little cabins. Well, if you get flooded by walkers, sir, that's on you.
Fire. Dirty work. Nobody else wanted to do. Got paid for it, too. Handsomely. Real dirty work started after the fall.
I can imagine.
Never seen that kind of chaos. And I had seen everything. But this
You gonna tell us about how you got your scars next, or what?
we hold up there is everything. And I mean everything.
This is a very long backstory.
2 hours later.
Fire had.
He's still going. My gosh, this guy likes to talk.
You hurt? Hmm? Any burns? Scratch? I've been through worse before.
Yeah, that's just his plot armor. He's getting a spin-off, didn't you know? Are you getting a spin-off?
You still hurt?
Why do I feel like he's gonna kill him?
Facing the enemy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Enough.
if his back hurt, then he was running away.
How far he would go just to keep you safe. Today, God, baptized you in that.
I mean, I think the real test would have been if literally anyone else was in there with him.
You.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. That's a hell of a way to go. Fuck.
We run into the fire. Always.
Well, you're insane. Lovely family you've got here. Okay, good episode overall. I did enjoy it. I will say I feel like we've seen all this before. I was hoping for a lot more for the Reapers than what we seem to get from them. I mean, I like that Leah is one. That's a cool twist. And was one even before she met Daryl, apparently, in the fact that they're like militia and stuff. Or what was it? Mercenaries, that was it, not militia. So it makes sense like how brutal they have been in combat and stuff like that. But aside from that, when you take off all their masks and stuff, you actually spent time with them, it's just yet another cult, really, isn't it? Which we've seen plenty of times, and we've even just seen like the last big bad we dealt with was really like a cult of people. So it's a shame that it just feels like, oh, it's just what we've seen before, and underneath those masks there are people that would just make jabs about, oh, you've got a girlfriend, yeah. And this crazy Pope guy, who wears a hat that seems a bit small for his head, let's be frank. And yeah, he's insane, which also doesn't help. But it just feels like we've done this before, and I feel like also it's stuff we've also already done with Daryl. If it had maybe been someone else who was getting captured and tortured by a group and locked in a cell, and if it was someone else who was, you know, kind of forced to join a group of survivors to try and like survive and get by, which Daryl already did with the Claimers in season 4-ish. You know, we've already done that, and we already had him be locked up in Negan's cell and everything with that, tortured, all of that jazz. So you're doing the same things you've already done, but also doing them with the same character you've already done those things with. And I'm just a bit like, you could have at least had someone else in that spot, you know, instead of the character who's getting a spin-off show when all this is said and done. But I guess, you know, they wanted to bring Leah back into it at some point, so it needed to kind of be Daryl in that situation. But I just felt there could have been more to it than that. So I just feel like a bit of the threat of like just how brutal the Reapers have been is just like, well, it's just another cult. I was hoping it would be, you know, something just a bit different to what's come before. Maybe it still will be. Maybe it will advance and change and stuff. But it's just gone down to this preachy guy who's like, oh, we don't turn on our brothers, and then he burnt one of the brothers. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, very fickle. But yeah, there's just a bit of that, and I think when he was like explaining all his backstory and stuff and how it all started with those guys, I got very bored during that very long speech. I think the actor's great, he's doing a good job. But I'm just like, I'm sorry, I don't care. I cared when I actually felt threatened by them, but I just don't now that the curtain's been removed and stuff. If, you know, when they take the masks off, they were even the little least bit intimidating and menacing, I think it would have worked, but I really didn't find that. Because they're just making girlfriend jabs at Daryl instead. So, yeah, it just feels like we've been there, done that before. And even Pope killing that guy, like, I think everyone would have seen that coming, surely. It feels very Negan throwing Dr. Carson into the fire in season 7 or 8. It feels very Alpha killing that Whisperer who caught her crying. I just feel like there could have been something more done with that. And, I mean, at the end of the day, this season's going to be 24 episodes, isn't it? Maybe it didn't need to be if they're just going to do an episode like this. Especially because, you know, bringing Leah back into it and everything, it came from an episode that wasn't even going to be in season 10 anyway. So it just seems odd to me. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm the only one who feels that way, but it just felt very been there, done that with the same character that you've already done it with. Just even someone else instead, it would have been better, I think. But, you know, it is what it is, and I still liked the episode. I was just very aware the whole time, like, we've literally done everything before here. Like, there was nothing new here, really. Even, like, a character that we've met before comes back into the group's lives, and they're now part of, you know, the bad guys. So we had that with the guy who joined the Saviours in the start of season 8, who we saw in season 1, and, you know, even that's just like, well, it's just beat for beat same. So I found that a bit of a shame, but what we still got, you know, we had some fun sequences in there. I liked the fact that they locked Leah in with Daryl. I thought that was an interesting kind of twist, if nothing else, and that whole sequence them trying to get out was cool. But it also just seemed like, if that was like your test, like, oh, he's going to be forged in fire, and, you know, he was willing to die to save one of his own, like, well, of course, that's someone he's very attached to. If it had been like this random person in there with him that was locked in there in the fire, and, you know, then he also saved them and got them out, I feel like that would have been more of like a test. I mean, of course he's going to save her out of everyone in that group. So that didn't make much sense to me in terms of like that trial by fire. But also I think this Pope guy is just insane, isn't he? But I can't say I'm like super hyped to see more of him. I just liked the Reapers just being in this group, and like there wasn't necessarily like a big like one key leader among them. But that seems to be the route we've gone down again, which I guess, you know, it is what it is. And even like Daryl having a drink with Pope, I was like, this just screams Rick and the Governor in that episode in season 3 where they have a drink. I don't know, maybe I'm being a bit too on it, but, you know, at the end of the day, we have seen all of that before. It's not like I just feel we've seen it before. You know, there are examples of it. But the episode itself was still fine and good and very well. I guess I'm also just in the back of my mind, like, I'd much rather be seeing, like, what Eugene and Kay are up to at the Commonwealth, because that does feel new and interesting, because we haven't seen a lot of these people, and this could potentially be, like, a big end game place for the show or whatever. But instead, we had literally a whole episode of Daryl doing stuff and going through stuff he's already gone through in previous seasons. But there you go. I like Cat Nothing Else. It again showcases the loyalty that Daryl has. There's no way in hell that he'd give up any information that would be, you know, absolutely fatal to his group. And the fact that, you know, he was lying to Leah when he was saying, "Oh, I'd never lie to you." So I thought that was kind of interesting. Clearly seeing that she is, like, a Reaper is probably like, well, I guess that's not going to be a thing anymore with us. And the fact that, you know, they had kind of given up ever seeing each other again, and now they're suddenly back in each other's lives, that could be interesting. And I'm excited to see a bit more of where Leah's story goes. It makes sense that they would bring her back into it. I assumed we would see her again. And yeah, the fact that she is a Reaper, I guess it's cool. It's a nice conflict, I guess, but also we have seen that kind of thing done before when a character's come back. So yeah, it will be interesting to see if Leah kind of realises how nuts her family is. And her being like, oh, you know, they didn't give up finding me. They found me when, even if you came back for me, you know, you then gave up finding me. And that whole episode, in the bonus episode, was her like saying, you need to stop and give up on finding your friend. He's gone or whatever. Just live a life with me. And like, what do you want, Leah? So yeah, it's a situation, alright. And I like that it showcased stuff about Daryl with his loyalty and stuff. But again, the fact that we knew Daryl wasn't going to give up any, like, absolutely essential information because he's been through all this stuff before, there's not really that tension there for me. I'm just like, well, I know he's going to be fine because he's gone through worse than this shit, and he's getting a spin-off. So yeah, it's fine. You know, it was fine. I didn't mind seeing it. And it was only like the super long backstory that Pope gave. Instead of like actually showing us it, it was just like this big monologue that wasn't particularly engaging for me. You know, that was the only time I was like bored of the episode. The rest of the time, you know, I still enjoyed watching it. But I would say this is probably my least favourite episode of the season so far. I would probably venture. And Dog. Ugh. I'm kind of glad about Dog, to be honest, like staying behind by Leah's side. It's like, I guess, you know, that's probably the earliest memory of a human would be Leah, because she had Dog since he was tiny. But at this point, it must have been like 6 or 7 years that Daryl's had Dog for, right? Maybe a bit less, but still a considerable amount of time. Ugh, where's that loyalty, Dog? You should be more loyal like Daryl actually is. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be an ongoing custody battle when it comes to Dog between Daryl and Leah at some point. Or yeah, Leah might help Daryl escape or see the error of her ways or something like that. I'm not quite sure where that's going to go, so I am intrigued by that aspect. I'm just not that excited about Pope and the other Reapers now that we've probably gotten a look at their inner lives. It's just what we've seen before. But I guess we needed people to fight and kill in cool ways. So here are the Reapers, I suppose. But yeah, outside of that, I don't really know what else I have to say. It was really just that one story that, you know, carried through the episode. We didn't have like other plots elsewhere. Maybe that would have helped the episode if we did have that. But yeah, it was fine. It was a fine episode. I feel like I've been very overly critical of it, but at the end of the day, I think it's stuff we've seen before. But if you're someone like my dad, for instance, who I have gotten through the show recently, he's on season 10 currently, he will probably remember the previous 2 or 3 episodes and forget everything prior to that. So I'm sure he'll have a blast when it gets to this episode. You know, he's not going to remember shit, so he's not going to realise that this is like stuff we've seen basically before. So if you're in that frame of mind when you approach The Walking Dead, that's You know, that's probably... There's a lot to enjoy still, I guess, but all it revealed was stuff we already knew about Daryl, plots we've already seen Daryl do himself, so it could have at least been someone else. I feel like it's just taken away the big fear and threat of the Reapers for me personally, and I'm not too thrilled about basically anything with Pope and stuff, because it's just stuff we've seen and a very, very long backstory that I kind of tuned out of. No offence to the actors, because I think all the actors did a great job, and I am glad to see Leah back. I think that's the big takeaway from this episode. The fact that she's back in it and she was a Reaper, I guess, is kind of interesting, but I think it probably would be more interesting in a more unique conflict for them to face if she wasn't on the enemy side, because that does make it a bit easy. You know, at least like the Negan and Maggie thing, they're on the same side, but they're not, and that's a lot more interesting, I think, and that actually works. So they've done a similar thing here with Darren and Leah, that would have been so much more engaging, but it's just not. And, you know, Leah coming back into it, you know, if that's all I've taken away from the episode, and that could have been like a 2-minute scene at the end of another episode, that she's back, yeah, it was fine. It was an okay episode, but I just feel like it was very unoriginal, especially when it's in the final season, you know. I feel like time could have just been spent elsewhere on other characters, you know, to actually give Rosita more than 5 lines or something, you know, that'd be lovely. Or give Aaron more than 2 lines, you know, but it's fine. I mean, I'd probably rather this than seeing Carol slit any more horses' throats or make soup. And this is certainly better, I guess, than Daryl trying to fix a bike, so I'll give them that, but at least that was something we hadn't really seen before. Regardless, I feel like I've been overly harsh, but that's just how I feel about the episode. And again, I did enjoy it, it was fine, but yeah, a bit unoriginal for me. But every episode's a brand new day. That doesn't work, but I'm looking forward to seeing where other stories will go, like the Maggie and Negan stuff now they're on their own together, the Commonwealth thing I'm particularly intrigued by, everything going on with that. But yeah, I feel like my eyes may glaze over if we have to have like another full episode of this, you know, but I'm sure we won't. But the dynamic's been established, we learned more about the Reapers, whether or not, you know, that was interesting for you, obviously is very subjective, so you might have gotten a lot out of this episode if you liked seeing how the Reapers live their lives. And normally I love episodes like that when we meet new encampments and new groups and see how their lives work. I'm normally a big fan of those episodes. But this one didn't quite do it for me, because it just felt very familiar ground. But also, 11 seasons in, what you kind of expect. So it is what it is, but overall, good episode, just not my favourite of the season by a long shot. It's just stuff we've seen before. But that will probably change in future episodes, so... you win some, you lose some, I suppose, but that's going to be everything for now, and until my next reaction, thanks for watching.